Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bearcat Update. Today, I'll be updating you on how the seasons are looking for our fall sports. From a gritty homecoming victory to back-to-back MIAA championships, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. The Northwest Missouri State cross-country teams had an incredible performance at the MIAA championship on Saturday. The men's team was able to capture back-to-back MIAA championships, scoring 54 points to take home first place. Senior Aziz Muhammad took the individual title, while teammate Drew Atkins finished in second, both earning first-team All-MIAA honors. John Langill and Grayson Tapp added honorable mention accolades, helping secure the team's victory. This marks Northwest's third MIAA men's cross-country title, following wins in 1972 and 2024. On the women's side, the Bearcats finished fourth at the MIAA championships with 102 points. Sophomore Olivia Backer posted the 10th fastest time in program history and earned first-team All-MIAA honors, while senior Lydia McLaughlin received honorable mention recognition. On Friday, the soccer team earned a 3-1 victory over Missouri Southern, improving to 10-3 overall and 7-1 in MIAA play. McKenna West showed why she was the player of the week with a stellar day on the pitch, scoring twice in the first half to give the Bearcats an early advantage. Later in the second half, Berkeley Salmon added her first career goal in the 86th minute to seal the win. Lily Ellis also made history with 5 key saves, bringing her career total to 343, which is the second most in program history. West and Ellis were both recognized as MIAA Athletes of the Week. West earned Offensive Athlete of the Week honors for the second time this season, while Ellis was named Goalkeeper of the Week, marking the 8th time in her Bearcat career that she has received this award. For more on soccer, our crew member Rayna highlights the successes the team has had so far this season.
Welcome to Kickin' It with Soccer. I'm Rayna Wozniak with Bearcat Update. Today we're going to take a look at the soccer season up to this point, which involves being ranked for the first time in program history and being on pace to having one of their best seasons of all time. So far this year, the Bearcats stand at 10-3 and 7-1 within the MIAA. Currently sitting atop of the conference, the soccer team earned its first ever national ranking in program history, debuting in the polls at number 23, with a 3-1 record ever since. They briefly slid up to number 21 before dropping back down to number 23. To round out the season, the Bearcats will face tough competition, all of whom are in the top 6 in the MIAA. They will hit the road for the final time this regular season when they travel to play Emporia State and will have 2 final home matches against Washburn and Missouri Western. The team is being led by senior star goalkeeper Lily Ellis. Just this season alone, she has reached her 30th career shutout and has eclipsed over 300 career saves. Another leader on this team is McKenna West. She's building off what was a great season from last year where she had earned an All-MIAA honorable mention. This year, she leads the team with 15 points scored, 18 shots on goal, and has played all 13 matches so far. With only 3 matches left, she's on pace to having the best season of her career. Alongside West, senior Margaret Madden has also been very productive for the Bearcats. Madden is currently second on the team with 9 points, 12 shots on goal, and has also played all 13 matches this season. In previous weeks, we have sat down with players and coaches, and they have highlighted how the team has become such a tight-knit group. The Bearcats will need to keep up their pace if they hope to bring home an MIAA championship and build a case for their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2022. We wish them the best of luck as they close out their season on a high note. For Bearcat Update, this is Rayna Wozniak.
Thanks, Rayna. The volleyball team faced the 24th ranked Missouri Western Griffins at Bearcat Arena on Friday, where they dropped 3 straight sets. The loss drops Northwest to 8-11 overall and 2-8 in MIAA play. For the first time since 2017, the Griffins have swept the Bearcats in both regular season series. Despite the sweep, the Bearcats showcased strong individual performances. Maya Noor led the attack with 12 kills and 3 blocks, making her third double-figure kill match of the season. Ella Caffrey contributed 29 assists and 4 aces, and Natalie Harrington added 5 total blocks. Northwest will look to bounce back next weekend, hosting number 25 Emporia State on Friday and number 2 Washburn on Saturday. For more on volleyball, our crew member Gabe Porter gives us a deeper look into the season so far.
The Northwest women's volleyball team begins to wrap up their season as they prepare to face Emporia State on the road. The Bearcats haven't had the season they were hoping for, but still hang on to playoff hopes as the season comes to a close. Last year, the Cats finished the season 16-12 and 9-7 in conference play, but they fell short in the MIAA tournament, falling 0-3, losing all 3 of their sets to number 3 ranked University of Nebraska-Kearney. This year, Northwest currently stands at 8-11 on the season, 2-8 in conference play after dropping 3 matches to none against Mo West. The Cats have important matches coming up as they wrap up MIAA conference play. They'll face number 2, number 1, and number 11 in the conference, that being Emporia State, Washburn, and then on the road at Missouri Southern. To turn the season around, the Bearcats must win at least half of the remaining games to keep their playoff hopes alive. For Bearcat Update, my name is Gabe Porter.
Thanks, Gabe. The football team shut out Nebraska-Kearney 14-0 on homecoming, earning their first shutout of the season and marking the second straight game without allowing a touchdown. The number 16th ranked Bearcats improved to 7-1 overall and remain undefeated in MIAA play. Senior defensive lineman Niall Shute took home the Don Black Award, which is given to the most valuable player of every homecoming game following his standout performance. Northwest's defense limited the Lopers to just 6 first downs and 111 total yards, while also forcing 3 interceptions. On offense, both touchdowns came on the ground, with Tashawn Porter and Zachariah Owens both rushing for a touchdown. Northwest controlled the clock and capitalized on turnovers to secure the homecoming win. When we come back, Olivia and Jackson will join the show and bring us more on the football team in another edition of Weekend Sports Report. We'll be right back.
Here at Tower Yearbook, we are a dedicated staff of photographers, designers, copywriters, and practicum students.
Our staff is a student-led, student-run media outlet, producing a book with over 300 pages. Be sure to pop out at any of our portrait or distribution events.
So stay tuned to our social media to see what's up.
Like the old saying goes,
out with the old, in with the new.
New Game Plus, your new place for everything video game
And tech related. With new wacky shenanigans.
and new packs from your new crew.
So get ready, we're skipping the tutorial with this one.
So watch New Game Plus right here.
Tuesdays at noon on KNWT.
Welcome to the Weekend Sports Report. I'm your host, Olivia Wallace, joined by me, Jackson Phelps. Let's get right into it. Cue the intro. Jackson, the Bearcats just took down University of Nebraska-Kearney for the homecoming game. They moved 7-1. They scored 14 points. Just talk about that game.
You know, this game was really defensive sounding. You know, really when you look at Northwest, they come in as the #1 defense in total yards in the MIAA, but guess who's right behind them? It's Nebraska-Kearney. So this was a defensive matchup between both sides. For Northwest, they did prove to why they are the best defense in the MIAA, holding Nebraska-Kearney to 0 points. But I'm going to give credit to the Lopers. I mean, they came in, the edges, their D-line came in and got after the quarterbacks. They only held Northwest to 14 points, but that was just enough to get the job done. And sometimes all it takes is that Bearcat defense.
You talked about that defense. That defense, they held those Lopers. You know, that first quarter, it was almost like a scramble. We had a few turnovers. We had a sack by Clayton Power. Just talk about that first quarter.
That first quarter, it really started the jump start. Clayton Power with the interception. I mean, it was so cool to see the big guy get that interception. He did it against Missouri Southern, and he did it again here in the first quarter. That was the first drive of the game. The bench where we were at, it was going nuts. They were just hyping up the crowd, but it just didn't end up going the way we wanted it on offense. But it really did set the tone for the defense, saying, hey, we're here, we're ready to play our game. They really brought the brand of Bearcat football out right away. And just being able to get in the head of Darren Bryden, the quarterback, and Schottling, the quarterbacks from Nebraska-Kearney, you could tell that they were getting in the head. They weren't as confident as they had been in weeks past. And always when Nebraska-Kearney is missing out on Isaiah Harris, their star running back, missed out for the season, that definitely helped the Bearcats out a bunch.
In that first quarter, the Bearcats were also 0-2 in the red zone. Just talk about how lethal that red zone is for the Bearcats.
You know, in football, if you get in the red zone, you need to score. You know, that's the whole entire vision of the game. Even if it's just a field goal, as long as you're getting on the board, that's all that matters. And whenever you're over 2 to start out the game in the red zone, something's not working. Zechariah got him close, fumbled the ball. You know, you're going to have key mistakes like that. But what was really cool was, even though the offense really wasn't moving as well, where we were at in the sidelines, I just heard the coaches and everyone saying, "Hey, I got your back. Don't worry. We got to get back out there. Let's get back out there. I got your back." And it was cool to see the defense. Every time the offense came off, they were already ready to go. Saying, "All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. We got to get back out there, do our job." And they really did go out there and do their job. And there were some times they got off that bench and they're like, "All right, here we go again." But they did amazing. And only holding Nebraska-Kearney to 111 total yards. I mean, that is impressive stuff.
Yep. That is truly impressive. Next week, the Bearcats are on the road as they are heading down to Emporia, Kansas as they face the Emporia State Hornets. You recently previewed that game. Let's take a look at those.
Welcome back to another week of Bearcat Breakdown. Oh, not that kind of breakdown? Well, let's get right into it. This week, we'll be taking a deep dive into football's next matchup against Emporia State. The Bearcats are headed to Emporia, Kansas and Welch Stadium for their November 1st matchup. The Bearcats came away with the win last year over the Hornets, winning that matchup 14-9 at home, as the Cats were led by receiver Luke Matthews, where he had 4 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. The Hornets on offense this season ranked 5th in total yards in the MIAA and have been led by junior quarterback Ben Harris, where he has thrown for over 2,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. Another threat the Hornets possess is running back Diego Cerns, and he has rushed for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Bearcat offense ranks 2nd in offense in the MIAA and have been guided by redshirt freshman quarterback Zechariah Owens, where he has over 500 yards rushing and 9 rushing touchdowns, along with over 500 passing yards and 6 touchdown passes. Northwest has also been led by another redshirt freshman in Quincy Torrey, and he has over 400 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. The Hornet defense ranks 5th in the MIAA and have been led by junior linebacker Landon Boss, where he has over 50 total tackles and 11.5 tackles for loss. Emporia's defense has also been led by defensive back Tyler Schultz, where he has over 40 tackles along with 7 pass breakups. The Bearcat defense ranks 1st in the MIAA and have been led by leader Shane Fredrickson, where he has over 27 tackles along with 3 pass breakups. The Cats defense has also been held down by defensive back Holden Zigmont, where he has over 27 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 5 pass breakups. The Cats are back on the road this week, and it will be a test after being at home the last couple of weeks, so they will have to come battle ready. But once again, I will be taking Northwest to beat the Hornets once again. This team feels different, and every week they seem to get the job done on both ends, and why would they stop this week? I'm Jackson Phelps, and this has been your Bearcat Breakdown. We're going to take a shift into my favorite segment as we're going to take a look into the BCU Plays of the Week. We're going to look at 3 plays from yesterday's matchup against Nebraska-Kearney. Let's kick it off with play number 1. First play here is going to be Zechariah Owens running it up the gut for a touchdown. As we see, this was the first score of the game for the Bearcats coming in the second quarter. And Zechariah, definitely one of the best rushers on this team, finds his way into the end zone a bunch. And let's take a pause on this next play here. We're going to take a deeper dive. Let's take a pause right here. And as we see right here, Zechariah is so lethal with reading the blocks. He's so patient. He is always the most patient guy on this field, and that's what you want out of your starting quarterback. He likes to sit back and wait for that play to develop. As you can see here, he sits back here and he lets, meanwhile, Caleb McCullough, good pancake block there, brother. That was good. As you see the tight ends over here, they're getting their mans. And this is actually a sweep option. Maddox Morris cut across. And all Zechariah had to do was hold the ball and wait and read that edge defender. And once he saw that he was going towards Maddox, he kept it himself and ran forward. So a great play from Zechariah.
He was wide open too. Wide open field.
Wide open field, touchdown for the Bearcats. As we're going to let this play out one more time here for Zechariah. Another great play, as we'll see it again. Like you see there, there's that read option sweep.
And he knew too. He knew it was wide open.
Taking a look at this second play, this is going to be one of the first sacks of the night and that'll be from Mr. Niall Shutt, the Don Black Award winner. So we're going to see that again. A great sack there. Darren Bryden sits back. There he goes. On this next play, we're going to pause. I want to take one more look at how Niall Shutt was able to get that. Let's take a pause right here. As we can see, Niall Shutt, he possesses a huge frame. And this guy is huge, very fast off his blocks, and he is able to get to the quarterback really fast. What he does here with his offensive lineman is he had his hips shifted completely towards this way, so all he had to do was just push him away. He basically just said, get out of my way, and it was an amazing leverage usage because Bryden is right here. He wanted to step up to see if he could step up in the pocket, but Niall Shutt, it was a contain move, so all he had to do was kind of fish his way into Bryden and make that sack, and Niall Shutt, all he has to do is just put one arm around you and grab you. So let's let that play out one more time. Tenacious man, Don Black Award winner, and one of the best on the defensive line.
And the Don Black Award is given to a key player, the MVP, if you will, of the homecoming game. But if we look at this next play here, Jackson, you want to give us this breakdown?
Yeah, so this is actually Mike Harrison on one of the 3 interceptions for Northwest. It was him, Clayton Power, and O'Shea Davis. But over the middle here, that was actually Shotling over the middle to Mike Harrison, where not many people were over there. It looked like Mike Harrison was going to be that receiver. As you can see here, he throws it, and it's just Mike all by himself. And he just takes a beeline for that out-of-bounds line. But on this next play, I want to take a pause. And honestly, I just want to take a pause right here. Actually, let's let that play out a little bit more right there. So as we can see here, obviously he was looking for his receiver right here. He was wanting him to go on a post. So he wanted him to go down the field. There was some miscommunication there. I think it was a double move, actually, what that was. So he was going to kind of take a move here, then move out. What I love about Mike Harrison is because he loves to play the inside of the hash. He loves to sit down, read your hips, and see where you're going to go. He sees the double move, and he's already one step ahead over the receiver here for UNK. Mike Harrison, one of the best defenders on this Northwest secondary, made a great play.
Like we said, we talked about this earlier before we started filming, but, you know, Mike Harrison, he could have just took it. He should have taken it, but, you know, I feel like taking it and just having that beeline, like you said, we got the ball back.
As we can see right here as we play it out, he does take that beeline for the out-of-bounds line, save clock, to save maybe an injury from happening. But once again, one of the best plays of the night as we'll watch it play once again. He gets that inside leverage, and he's already there to meet the pass. And Mike Harrison, one of 3 interceptions and a great defensive game from Northwest. Well, this has been Weekend Sports Report, and we'll be back in a week. Next up, we're going to send it to John Rinehart as he breaks down the next week's Bearcat schedule. Take it away, John.
Homecoming week is coming to a close, Bearcat basketball is tipping off, and the postseason is right around the corner. For everything that's coming up next week in Bearcat Sports, I'm John Rinehart. Women's basketball is tipping off their preseason with an exhibition game against Central College before heading down to St. Joseph for the D2 CAA Tip-Off Classic, being led by some new faces. Sophomore Sadie Moss is a big impact returning for the Bearcats after a very impressive freshman campaign, averaging 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. She'll be helped out in a big way with transfer Andrea Lopriato, where last year she averaged 23 points per game at Black Hawk College. Sadie and Andrea will have to be on their A game going up against 2 strong opponents in Adams State, who went 19-12 last year and reached the NCAA tournament, and West Texas A&M, who went 19-13 and reached the second round of the tournament. Men's basketball will also be tipping off their season next week in St. Joseph and are looking to start year 2 of the post-McCollum era better than last year's 6-22 record, which beats out their worst record since the 2010 season. The Bearcats hit the transfer portal hard over the summer, only returning Trey Mawala to Bearcat Arena. Trey will be joined by some impactful transfers though. Senior guard Gob out of UMKC will help give some length on the perimeter, as well as senior guard Aiden Gare out of Millersville, bringing the 3-point threat back to the Bearcat offense. The latest rendition of the Bearcat Update game of next week is headed out to Bearcat Pitch, with the Bearcats taking on the Washburn Ichabods. Last season, the Bearcats dropped their first game against Washburn since 2019 and are looking to rebound against one of the stronger teams in the MIAA. Northwest comes into this week with a record of 10-3, pacing slightly better than the Ichabods at 8-2-3, And a matchup to look out for in this game will be the Bearcats defense versus star freshman Leah Henke, who has the most goals on the team with 9, and pairing that with the second most goals and game-winning goals in the conference, making her worth the worry. Bearcat Volleyball picked up a couple of wins last week before dropping their second match of the season against Missouri Western to move to 8-11 on the year, and their schedule isn't getting any easier. Emporia State is rolling into Bearcat Arena with confidence, sweeping the Bearcats in the last matchup earlier this year and winning 4 of their last 5 matches. Someone with maybe the most confidence coming in this matchup is Sophia Mia Frisbee, who last time out against the Bearcats had a .571 hit percentage, 4 kills, and 8 blocks, all 3 of which top her season averages. Football will then take their own turn at Emporia State, this time in Emporia. Football has had nothing but success against the Hornets, being 28-1 all time, and that includes an ugly 14-9 win last year at home. Emporia State has had their own struggles this year with one of the worst defenses in the conference, and it'll be a big ask for them to try and stop the Bearcats' potent offense, which ranks number 15 in the country and number 1 in the MIAA. There is one bright spot on the defense for the Hornets, with junior linebacker Landon Boss leading the team in every solo statistic on the defensive side of the ball, including sacks and turnovers. Moving back into Bearcat Arena, Volleyball will finish out their week against the number 2 team in the country, Washburn. In the last matchup, the Bearcats were able to take a set against the Ichabods, which is an accomplishment in itself when taking on the number 1 defense in the conference and one of the top defenses in the country. This matchup will be just as tough, if not tougher, than earlier in the season, and Kate Frakes will have to step up in a big way against Washburn's Austin Brody, who is putting her name in the running for an all-MIAA team selection. And finishing out the week, Bearcat Soccer will take their own turn against Emporia State in Emporia for the Bearcats' 3rd matchup of the week. The Hornets have been a nightmare against the Bearcats, and in their last 16 matchups, the Hornets are 14-1-1 and outscoring the Bearcats 34-8. Both teams are being led by a couple of standout sophomores in Lily Shaw and Megan Kephart, both of which are top of their teams in goals, assists, and minutes on the season. For Bearcat Update, I'm John Rinehart, bringing you what's happening next week in Bearcat Sports.
Thanks, John. We're going to take our final break of the show. If you like what you see, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell to be first to know when we post new content. When we come back, our reporter Cayden Simpson brings us a Bearcat Update exclusive interview. We'll be right back.
KZLX is a student-run radio station where Northwest students have complete freedom during their shifts. KZLX also hosts mini radio shows such as Nermageddon, Revive, Day-to-Day Picks, and more. To learn more, visit kzlxfm.com.
Hayden, I don't know how he expects us to do all of this by ourselves.
Mallory, we can do this. That's why Noah asked us to host. He knows we can do it.
I know. It's just there's like so much to do. And
Hey!
Hey!
I just have some last minute notes for you guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Hayden! Topics to cover?
Check.
People to interview?
Check.
Locations to visit?
Check.
And my trip to Hawaii?
That's not on my list.
I'm joking.
Watch Staying Current Wednesdays at noon.
Before we get into our last interview, we want to take a quick moment to recognize where our Bearcat teams are ranked nationally. As previously mentioned, the men's cross-country team placed first, and the women placed fourth at the MIAA Championship. As they prepare for the regional meet coming up, the men are ranked number 7 nationally, and the women are ranked 23rd. Prior to yesterday's homecoming win, the football team climbed the rankings up to number 16 in the nation. The soccer team remains ranked as they continue to stack up wins. However, they did drop 2 spots to number 23 in the most recent poll. Both the football team and the soccer team currently sit in first in the MIAA conference in their respective sports. Keep up the great work, Bearcats! Prior to the cross-country team's conference meet yesterday, our reporter Cayden Simpson had the opportunity to talk with cross-country coach Wick Cunningham about his time as an athlete on the cross-country team and what it means to him to be head coach. All of this coming up next in a Bearcat Update exclusive interview.
Good afternoon, Bearcats, and welcome to this week's Bearcat Update exclusive interview. Today I'm here with cross-country coach, Wick Cunningham. How are you doing today, Coach?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. And so my first question for you is, Coach, so you are a Northwest alumni and former record holder here at Northwest. What does it mean to come back and join the program, now part of the coaching staff?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I had a fantastic collegiate experience here from 2013 to 17. You're right, I did have a school record in the indoor 3K. Man, I'm surprised people even remember that. You did your research. It's been fantastic to be a part of it. Have a lot of pride for the Bearcats, and I really just enjoy the opportunity to further the program on the other side of things, and it's been a wonderful journey.
And we just talked about your records and how you had a standout career here as a Bearcat distance runner. You're a two-time national qualifier, all MIAA, all regional. How do those experiences as an athlete shape the way that you approach your coaching style?
Yeah, no, you really did your research, man. You dug that stuff up. That's great. Not even my athletes probably know that stuff. It's not necessarily all about the successes that I've had or anything like that. I was fortunate to be on an amazing team with a lot of great guys from Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri. And those are the experiences I had with those teammates is really what's helped me carry through this program. And then just not being afraid to even bounce out of my own experiences and try to put myself in different shoes, always trying to learn more, always trying to explore more options, and improve my craft the best I can, and make sure that I remind myself that I definitely don't have it all figured out.
And along with being an athlete here, you were also a graduate assistant and volunteer back here at Northwest a couple years ago. And how have you seen the program change and evolve over the years until now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. My first year as a graduate assistant was actually the first year of an entirely new coaching staff at Northwest. It would have been Coach Masters and Coach Gibson at the time. So it was almost a little nerve-wracking. You don't know what to expect at 22 years old with new people coming in, changes being made. But it's definitely been for the better. The program's really launched into a different era. Of course, we did have the addition of Hughes Fieldhouse, which also aided in that. But we were getting different recruits, more dedicated recruits, and then just changing that mindset of a team that can be competitive at the conference and national level rather than a team that's maybe we're just there, or we're just around. And that's been exciting to be a part of that, and I learned a lot of stuff during that time that I've even carried into coaching today.
And as you become the coach for a cross country, what are some of your biggest goals for the season and future goals?
Yeah, great question. We certainly have athletic goals. We want to be competitive towards the top of the conference. We want to hopefully qualify for the national championships and so forth. But we also have other goals, such as we want both our men's and women's team to maintain a 3.5 GPA or higher throughout the cross-country season. We want everyone on our team to be excellent, and how we define excellence is the ability to overcome multiple bouts of adversity. There's so many things that come at you in life. It could be as simple as bombing on a test, getting sick and having to navigate school and running. It could be something, your boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with you, or grandma or grandpa passed away. There's so many things that can happen in our lives at this time. And we want to make sure that we're handling those appropriately, not just on the cross-country course, but also off the cross-country course, because those are things that are really going to carry into our lives.
Yeah, that's a really good message, especially to the athletes and stuff. And then my last question for you is, so Coach Masters mentioned how excited he is to have an alumni back on the staff. And how does that Bearcat connection influence the culture and energy you hope to build within the athletes on the team?
Yeah, so just that sense of pride that I think every student here has for being a Bearcat. I was fortunate. I met my wife here. She also ran track, and I'll give her a shout out because she was, you said I had a school record. She had 9 school records. So she settled for me while I married up, but we both have tremendous pride for the university. We would live right off campus. I wouldn't want to be coaching at any other school necessarily. There's a lot of great NCAA programs out there, and I'm just not even interested in coaching somewhere other than Northwest. And I feel like you can only get that sense of pride having been a Bearcat. And not that any coach that is here doesn't have that sense of pride if they didn't go here, but I just feel like it's a little bit different when you have that connection of, I've been tied to the university for 12 years of the 30 years of my life, and it's been a wonderful experience.
Once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat, right?
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Coach.
Thanks, Cayden. That's all the time we have for today. I've been your host, Hayden LaValle, and this has been Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We're live every Sunday at 2, and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. Along with Bearcat Update, you can watch KNWT's other content. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back in no time.